Master Lyons. Call this meeting to order.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Okay, first order of business is approval of the minutes. October 22nd, 2012 work session. Oh, roll call. You already did that. Okay. Approval of minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
I abstain as I was absent.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next, I have approval of the minutes October 22nd, 2012 regular meeting.
So moved.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Abstain, same reason.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next, I have October the 29th, 2012 special meeting.
So moved. Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Abstain, same reason.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the order of business, I have a proclamation to read for Gary, Joyce, and Susan. You want to stand? Come up. Introduce yourselves.
Joyce Heron, one of the food bank coordinators at Second Missionary Baptist Church.
My name is Gary Jones, and I'm the director of the Help Center.
I'm Susan Wheeler. I'm one of the co-chairmen at First Presbyterian Church.
Thank you for being here. Here we have a proclamation of the City of Mexico, Missouri. And it goes as follows. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of great concern in the United States and the City of Mexico, Missouri. Whereas the City of Mexico, Missouri is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger in every part of our city and to provide additional resources citizens of Mexico, Missouri need. And whereas the City of Mexico, Missouri has 3 recognized food pantries in the forms of Mexico Help Center, the Second Missionary Baptist Church, and the First Presbyterian Mobile Pantry. And whereas the City of Mexico, Missouri is committed to work with the recognized food pantries in educating people about the role and importance of the food banks, food pantries, and other hunger relief charities, in addressing hunger and raising awareness of the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas more than 4% of Audrain County residents live in poverty, and over 409 families rely on food provided by members of agencies of the food pantry. I did catch my breath. I've been rushing too much. Now, therefore, I, Steve Nichols, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Mexico, Missouri, do hereby proclaim a challenge to the citizens of Mexico and the Audrain County to collect 50,000 pounds of food by December the 24th, 2012, for the 3 food pantries in Mexico, Missouri, and take part in the action against hunger. In Mexico, Missouri, and urge all members of our community to join in recognition of this significant occasion. On behalf of the city, proclamation is yours.
Thank
Thank you.
And we hope we'll wipe out hunger.
Yes.
Yes. Now? Yeah. Okay.
Time out.
I'll humble myself.
Marcy, can you get 2 more copies to get to the other 2?
I catch my breath a little bit. Okay. And the next thing, we have new business. And we have bill number 2012-65. Bruce, you want to?
Okay. Yes, we have a resolution here authorizing the city manager to sign a change order, number 9, with River City Construction for the wastewater treatment Phase 2 improvements. To cover the details of this resolution, I will turn to Kenzie Russell.
This change order relates to our primary digester. The primary digester has a floating cover on it, which raises and lowers depending on how much biosolids are in the digester. A number of years ago, and I don't know exactly when it was, but sometime in the past, the digester was overfilled and the floating cover was actually lifted above the rim of the tank and the rails that it rides on. And as it settled back down after that incident, it bent and broke a number of the rollers that roll along the sides of the tank. In our rehabilitation process, we've determined that for the cover to properly operate, those rollers need to be repaired and replaced in a couple of instances, repaired in a couple of other instances, and the cover lifted back into the proper position on the tank. That's what this change order is about. The change order is for $11,273.95. It will bring our current contract to $3,515,000 plus change. We've had, this is change order number 9, which seems to be a lot of change orders. At the outset, though, we said we wanted to keep up with these rather than get hit with a big surprise at the end of the job. It also helps us monitor our costs and make decisions along the way as to what items might be a priority or what items might be left to do later. And so that's one reason why we're up to number 9. By way of comparison, I did look, we are still under 10% of the total contract cost with our change orders. We do still have a couple of items coming that will be deductions on our change orders. When we get into the secondary digest, we'll probably have some additional changes that we'll discover as we get that cleaned out and go to work. But we are asking for approval and authorization to sign the change order this evening. Question?
Any question? People having their projects done.
Pardon?
People having the projects finished.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Entertain a motion to.
I move we approved, move for first reading, bill number 2012-65.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Bill number 2012-65, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 9 with River City Construction for the wastewater treatment plant Phase 2 construction. Whereas improvements are needed to properly complete the rehabilitation of the primary digester floating cover at the wastewater treatment plant, and whereas it is necessary to enter into change order number 9 with River City Construction to adjust the scope of work and contract cost. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the city manager is hereby authorized to sign change order number 9 in the amount of $11,273.95 with River City Construction for the rehabilitation of the primary digester floating cover. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2012-65.
Second?
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Rogers.
Next on our bill number
Yes.
2012-66, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center to offset operation costs related to providing citizens services to citizens. I have a reading and passage, please.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a annual resolution. We did include this contribution into the annual budget, and to cover the details, I will turn to Roger Haynes.
Good evening, Council. The attached resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center to assist in the offset of operational costs related to providing services to citizens. The 2012-2013 budget allows for the City of Mexico to contribute to the Help Center the sum of $10,000 for the use in the offset of operational costs related to providing programs, activities, and services to citizens. The City of Mexico has provided assistance to the Help Center in the past. In 2004, we contributed $5,000. In 2010 and 2011, we made contributions, with the most recent contribution in 2011 being $10,000. Staff recommends that the City of Mexico and the Help Center enter into an agreement and that council proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution. And we do have with us this evening the Director of the Health Center, Gary Jones.
I would like to take this time to thank the council members and also the city manager for the continued support the Health Center in our community. Thank you. It's truly appreciated.
Thank you, Roger.
I move for reading of bill number 2012-66.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bill number 2012-66, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center to offset operational costs related to providing services to citizens. Whereas the City of Mexico recognizes the many benefits provided by the Help Center to its citizens, and whereas the City of Mexico acknowledges the need for programs, activities, and services provided to citizens, and whereas the City of Mexico and the Help Center desire to enter into an agreement to continue to provide these services, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. City manager is hereby authorized to execute an agreement with the Help Center to assist in the offset of operational costs related to providing these services. Agreement attached hereto and marked as Exhibit A. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2012-66.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next, we have bill number 2012-67, resolution terminating the compact agreement with Audrain City County Health Unit. Reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. The attached resolution will terminate the compact agreement between the City of Mexico and the Audrain City County Health Unit effective December 31st, 2012. The compact agreement was originally created to run the City County Health Unit. It is no longer necessary that we continue with the compact agreement because the passage of the mill tax, which will begin to be distributed January 1st, 2013. Therefore, this resolution will terminate the compact agreement, and from this point forward, the newly created Audrain County Health Board for Public Health will take over the operations, and therefore staff recommends that we proceed with the reading and passage of the resolution and terminating the compact agreement, which is known as the Audrain City County Health Unit, effective December 31st, 2012.
Been a very worthwhile compact going all those years. Move to reading 2012-67.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bill number 2012-67, a resolution terminating the compact agreement with the Audrain City County Health Unit. Whereas the citizens of Audrain County voted to establish a Board of Health pursuant to Chapter 205 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, and whereas the members of the compact agreement are the County of Audrain, the City of Mexico, the City of Vandalia, and Audrain Medical Center, and whereas under said compact agreement, it allows the Board of Directors of the compact to provide financial support for public health and any other initiatives deemed applicable, and allow said member to otherwise withdraw and terminate said contract. And whereas the Board of Directors agree there's no longer a need for said compact agreement, and whereas Chapter 70.226 allows the dissolution or termination of a local public health agency upon a finding by said local public health agency's Board of Directors that all of the local public health agency's standing indebtedness has been paid, including money owed to the Missouri local government's retirement system for any unfunded accrual liability of its past, current employees, and now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the Mexico City Council has agreed that the compact agreement is no longer warranted and shall be dissolved, terminated, and or canceled, and waives any and all notice requirements as set out in the compact agreement, as all members agreed to its dissolution and transfer of the funds. Section 2, the Mexico City Council hereby withdraws, terminates from the compact agreement effective December 31st, 2012. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of Bill number 2012-67.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next we have bill number 2012-68, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign documents necessary for the Mexico Area Family YMCA Incorporated expansion financing. Reading and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commerce Bank of Mexico Banking Center is requested that the City of Mexico confirm the fact that the Mexico Area Family YMCA and the City of Mexico did enter into a lease agreement on August 1st, 1983. The Mexico Banking Center would like the city to state the fact that the lease is still in full force and effect, and that there has only been one amendment and modification to that lease, that the lease was extended in the western boundary of the property by adding an additional 6 feet, that there has been no defaults or other terms, other items of the lease agreement by the YMCA, that they've been a excellent tenant and steward of the resources. The attached resolution would authorize the city manager to sign a document on behalf of the city for the YMCA to receive financing and refinancing on their expansion. And we would recommend the reading and passage of the attached resolution, allowing the documents to be signed on behalf of the city, allowing for the Y to finance its expansion.
Well, it's been an asset to the community for many years.
Do we actually charge them anything?
I don't think there's any charge at all, is there? $1?
$1? Okay. I was just curious because it's a lease agreement. I was like, do we really charge? Shouldn't if we do. I move for a reading of bill number 2012-68.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes. Bill number 2012-68, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign documents necessary for the Mexico Area Family YMCA Incorporated expansion refinancing. Whereas the City of Mexico and the Mexico Area Family YMCA Incorporated entered into a lease agreement on August 1st, 1983, and whereas the City of Mexico states that the lease agreement is still in full force and effect, and that there has been one amendment or modification to the lease agreement, being a change to extend the western boundary of the property by adding an additional 6 feet. And whereas the Mexico Area Family YMCA is refinancing for its expansion project, and Commerce Bank Mexico Banking Center is requiring that the City of Mexico sign necessary documents on behalf of the City of Mexico for the expansion refinancing. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, Commerce Bank Mexico Banking Center is requiring that the City of Mexico confirm that the Mexico Area Family YMCA Incorporated and the City of Mexico entered into a lease agreement on August 1st, 1983, and that it is still in full force and effect, and that there has been one amendment or modification to the lease agreement, being to change to extend the western boundary of the property by adding an additional 6 feet. There have been no defaults under the terms of the lease agreement by the YMCA, and that they have been an excellent tenant and steward of its resources. Section 2, the Mexico City Council hereby authorizes the city manager to sign documents on behalf of the City of Mexico necessary for the YMCA expansion and refinancing. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force in effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of Bill number 2012-68.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next on the new business have ordinances. Bill number 2012-69. An ordinance calling for and establishing the filing dates for the municipal general election to be held in 2013 to fill one 3-year term on the Mexico, Missouri City Council. First reading by title only.
Yes, this ordinance sets forth the dates for the 2013 municipal general election and establishes the time period for candidate filing. Statements of candidacy will be received by the city clerk from Tuesday, December 11, 2012 through Tuesday, January 15, 2013. The municipal general election date will then be held on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2013. In order to proceed with the accepting of the statements of candidacy, establishing election dates, staff recommends council proceed with the first reading by title only of the attached ordinance at this time.
I move for reading of Bill number 2012-69 by title only.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bill number 2012-69, an ordinance calling for and establishing the filing dates for the municipal general election to be held in 2013 to fill one 3-year term on the Mexico, Missouri City Council.
Okay, the next bill, bill number 2012-70, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 6, Driving Regulations, and Article X, Schedules. 2 readings by title only and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. This is an ordinance that has been brought forward predominantly at council's request as we looked at what we'd really call no trucks signage being established and then enforceable. And what we had found through the process was that it hadn't been clearly defined in the code, and so therefore we need to move forward with this step. And I will turn to Kenzie Russell to cover the details of the establishment and designation of no truck.
I think as the council's aware, we have around town a number of the signs that prohibit truck traffic on certain streets, predominantly those streets that intersect with Business 54 or South Clark, and then a handful of streets around ADM and off of East Liberty Street. The Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is the national guideline for signs and traffic markings and such, says that the no truck sign is a regulatory sign. That is, it's to be put in place with authority from the legislative body. Our ordinance had a general authority provided in that it stated that the city manager or his designee could place a sign. That really we felt wasn't specific enough for enforcement, and so this ordinance modifies that to create a traffic schedule like we have for stop signs and other regulatory signs, and then it populates that schedule with the signs that we have existing. We have not added any or taken any away from what is out there, but have tried to identify everything that is currently in place and have put it into Schedule 24. And so this ordinance establishes Schedule 24 and populates it.
Thank you for bringing this forward.
Just give our laws more bite, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I move for first reading by title only of, as soon as I find it, Bill number 2012-70.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bill number 2012-70, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 10, Schedules. And I would move for a second reading by title only.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bill number 2012-70, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 10, Schedules. I move for passage of Bill number 2012-70.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next, we have Bill number 2012-71, an ordinance amending the fund balance policy for the City of Mexico, Missouri. There's two readings by title only and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. We have had a formal policy on the level of unreserved fund balances that we feel should be maintained, and that's been in effect since 2010. We have looked at that and believe that there are some things that we need to do that, by some changes, that change how we establish some of the minimum reserve levels. And that way it is more in line with the best practices and how we do that. And to cover the details of what we are talking about changing, I will turn to Roger Haynes to cover those.
As Bruce mentioned, we're presenting to council some recommended changes to our fund balance policy, which was originally adopted on September 7th, 2010. In reviewing and making these recommendations, of course, staff has taken into account several variables included in the city's operations, including predictability of its revenues and volatility of its expenditures, perceived exposure to significant one-time outlays such as disasters or immediate capital outlay needs, and potential for future commitments and assignments. Rather than go over the complete policy, I thought we'd go over just the changes that we are recommending. And in the council's packet, you do have, of course, the fund balance policy. On the second page, for the general fund, wastewater fund, sanitation fund, parks and recreation fund, and public health fund, and on the following page, the airport operation fund, the unassigned or residual fund balance was previously based on 25% of revenues for those particular funds. This change will make the percentages for unassigned or residual fund balances tied to expenditures for those funds, excluding non-recurring capital outlays and, of course, transfers in some cases. In reviewing the GFOA best practices and looking at how our municipal government works, deriving fund balance percentages or ranges works better on our expenditures rather than basing it on revenues. If you were an entity that received all your revenue in one lump sum early in your fiscal year, then you may want to consider basing it on revenues rather than expenditures. Of course, as council is aware, our revenues and expenditures are spread throughout the year, and it just creates a better security or reserve fund for each of those funds by working off of expenditures. You will see in most of those funds, we are holding the percentages the same, anywhere from 2 to 3 months of reserves based on anticipated expenditures for each fund. One area of the fund balance policy that is brand new and is an entire addition would be the area titled as Conditions for Use of Reserves Below Minimum Level. This way it outlines when management or council may allow reserves to go below minimum percentages. And I'll go ahead and go over that for the benefit of the public. The City of Mexico will avoid the appropriation of fund balance reserves for recurring operating expenditures. if at any time the utilization of fund balance to pay for operating expenditures is necessary to maintain the quality of level of current services, an explanation of the circumstances of the utilization of fund balance and a strategy to arrest the future use of fund balance will be described. Contingency reserves may be used at the discretion of City Council to provide resources to make up temporarily decreased revenues, such as state subventions, provide temporary resources in the event of an economic downturn while expenditure reductions are implemented, provide resources to meet emergency expenditures in the case of flood, fire, earthquake, landslides, and other disasters. The other item that has changed within the fund balance policy is, of course, the last page, Appendix A. And again, the source column to the far right on the funds of general, wastewater, sanitation, parks and recreation, and public health. The source of doing the calculation is expenditures rather than revenues, which would have been titled there previously. Another item that we did make a change on is we increased the reserve goal in wastewater from 25% to 30%. What I would like to make a comment on is how did we stand in this next budget year compared to the policy that we have in place and the policy that we're recommending. Again, the minimum goal for the general fund was 17%, basically 2 months of operating, with a goal of 25%. When the budget was made this year for 2013, we were at 44%, so we had a strong and healthy reserve. Wastewater, the minimum is 25%, now being recommended as a minimum, and 30% as a goal. We forecasted 42% with it in the 2013 budget. Sanitation, minimum of 17%, goal of 25%, and we are looking at currently at 39%. Parks and Recreation, the minimum 8%. It will have a goal of 25%. When we entered into the budget year, we were looking at a 10% reserve level. This would be one fund that I would anticipate us coming back in a year or two and possibly bumping up the reserve levels. It's important right now that it stay at about 1 month because this next year is its first year that really has its own revenue source. So once it has time to work with its own revenue source, then we may recommend having a little bit better residual fund balance in that fund. Economic development, the minimum was 50%, a goal of 50%, and that's based on debt service. We wanted to keep within that fund enough money that we carry at least a half a year of debt service, which in this case would be the payments that we have on the spec building. Public health, a minimum of 17%, with a goal of 25%, and it has a healthy fund balance currently of 60%. As council knows, we're using some of that fund balance that's been freed up from the compact agreement with the City County Health Unit going away to do some demolition this year. Airport operations, a minimum of 17%, goal of 25%, and we were right in that range when we went into the 2013 budget year. And of course, capital improvement sales tax, minimum goal of 10%, and our actual is 16% when you consider what you call contingency for special projects that are unforeseen at this time. Tourism is one that, like capital improvement sales tax, remains the same. It's going to be based on revenues rather than expenditures, basically for the same reason that we discussed earlier. It basically, we know what it's going to get in revenues annually within a few $1,000s, and then the Tourism Commission, knowing what those anticipated revenues would be, allocates expenditures. I'd be glad to answer any questions that the council might have. It's kind of like you've heard people say to individuals, well, you need to save 3 months of your salary in case something unforeseen comes up. And then someone else might say, well, you need to save 3 months of your normal expenses for if something comes up. So it's one of those that's 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other. But for the City of Mexico, doing the calculations on expenditures for the funds mentioned, it makes more sense.
Am I correct in my understanding that the contingency reserve may be used at the discretion of the City Council under only these three specifications that are laid out here.
Right, unless the council would come back and amend this policy. Now, this is just for the cases of pulling fund balances below the minimums. If you would be like in, let's say, excess of goal, then the council and management has, you know, a variety of options available
Sure.
to them for one-time capital outlays or putting out cash to save cash in the future or something like that, reduce debt service, things like that.
And is that an ending balance? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes,
That it would be an ending balance, it would be below the minimum.
right. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Roger.
I move for first reading of bill number 2012-71.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes. Bill number 2012-71, an ordinance amending the fund balance policy for the City of Mexico. I move for second reading of bill number 2012-71.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes. Bill number 2012-71, an ordinance amending the fund balance policy for the City of Mexico. I move for passage of bill number 2012-71.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next we have claims.
Move to pay the bills.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Next we have council comments. Start with you, Mr. Boss.
Well, I'd like to thank the folks that are here representing the food pantries and all the work that they do to help alleviate hunger, and certainly hope that this challenge can be met. That's great. Several weeks ago, I talked about how, or well, I brought up the issue that the stretch of street of Jefferson Street between Boulevard and Jefferson Road was narrow, and when people park on both sides, it makes it very difficult to get through, and certainly can't meet anyone. Letters were sent, and people responded how they felt, and the responses were mixed, but at least the responses by letter, the response has been terrific. There's hardly anyone parking on that street now. They have somehow figured out how to do it, but I mean, I would like to commend the people on that stretch of street for not parking on the street and making it a whole lot easier to get through and safer in case of emergency. That's all.
First, I'd like to say I had a great morning on Sunday morning with the Walmart and the veterans. It was joyous, and a lot of veterans were there, and we owe everything we're doing right here to veterans. So I appreciate their service. I have a couple questions about the food drive. Are we keeping track somehow? How's that going to go down? No?
I'm not exactly sure how we're doing it, how you're keeping track of it. One of you guys want to be able to comment on how we do that? Is it totally by poundage that comes in the barrels at different locations?
Well, I guess my question is, the city's putting this out, are we collecting it? Or?
We are one of the sites. As I understand the sites to be a City Hall, the county, the library, I believe AMC, the post office, and I think they're going to be placing the barrels, and then they'll be by poundage, I think, at each location, I think is how they're doing it. That's how I thought it was explained to me.
They're
It'll
conferring.
be explained further here momentarily.
Yeah, it'll be explained better now.
What we're going to be doing is we'll be collecting the food, weighing it, and right now we don't know exactly where we're going to be storing that large amount of food. Right now, the free food banks average probably about 20,000 pounds a month. So you're looking at 2.5 months worth of food that we're planning on collecting. But basically we're going to be weighing and keeping track, and the food will be stored and then it'll be transported when the 3 food banks are providing food. Not only to the community, but also the food bank in Columbia provides each one of us with food. So this food that we'll be collecting will be added to that and be handed out to our community. So but that's basically the food's going to be collected, it'll be weighed and stored, and then used at 3 food banks.
Are we going to have like a chart somehow to keep goal where we're at? Just shake your head, Chris.
Just like I said, right now, we're not in the planning stage, we're already there. The barrel's going to be put out on Monday. So we've got a few things that we need to iron out, but other than that, everything is in place. Basically, this has come together probably in the last 5 days, so if we sound a little bit unorganized, we probably are, but I will assure you that everything's going to work out. Hopefully, just like I said, hopefully we'll be able to meet that goal. A prime example is the Buddy Pack program. They were wanting to raise $70,000 and it was over $100,000. So our community will rally around us. So I don't have any doubts at all that things will work out.
It's one of the most worthy things I think that a city can do. And kudos to you guys for running these pantries and doing the things you do. And so I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say this. I'm going to pledge myself to either raise 500 pounds, which is 1% of your goal, and whatever I can't raise, me and my family will personally pay the difference, because it is a wonderful thing. And I where I work, most of you know, I work with a lot of people that struggle, and I just can't imagine somebody not being able to put food on their table. So
We really appreciate that too.
that's all I have.
Very nice comment. Eric?
Well, again, thank you all for being here. I'm sure that if folks don't have food to donate, you will accept monetary donations. Is that correct in all
Yes,
3
we will.
cases?
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
So we would encourage that in lieu of food if they don't have.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you again for being here. I think when we feed hungry people, we're doing not only God's will, but what we're supposed to do. I have nothing.
Bruce, anything?
Yes, Your Honor. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the airport, there will be a ceremony that will recognize Christopher S. Kit Bond on a couple of different things. One will be the naming of the airport terminal building for his honor, as well as Highway Business Loop 54 that is going through the city limits. So that again, that ceremony is tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the airport.
I'd also like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to see all 3 of you out of business before long. It would be a nice thought. And it's so interesting seeing Chris's lips move and seeing the voice come out of your mouth. That's all I have. Do we have any comments from the public? Being none, bye. Adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second. We're leaving without even saying anything.
Yes.
Yes.